I didn't think this would happen. I really didn't. I didn't think out of all the teams that were looking to pick up J.J. Watt in free agency that it would end up being the Cardinals. As a Bears fan, I'm absolutely ecstatic because you know what that means? Green Bay didn't get them, and that is a win-win for us. If that means Green Bay doesn't get any talent in free agency, especially as prime of a talent like J.J. Watt is, that's a win for us. But anyways, this really isn't about the Bears. This is about J.J. Watt, and let's get into what I think of his new contract that he just signed in free agency with the Arizona Cardinals. So J.J. Watt signed a 2-year, $31 million contract with the Arizona Cardinals, and $23 million of that is guaranteed. I think that's actually a pretty solid contract. It's not super long, so it's not a boat anchor if he just gets injured too much, because he has been a bit of an injury-prone player as of late, albeit when he does play, he's an incredible edge rusher. What do I think of this? I think this easily improves Arizona's defense, especially their front seven. Him and Chandler Jones might be the best pass rushing duo, as they've accounted for the most sacks over, I think, any two players in the past 5 years. So I think it will definitely be a great combination up front. I mean, they got Budda Baker as a safety, and then they also got some offensive talent. I mean, look, they have a young and surging Kyler Murray, who I think will be a really prime candidate next year to potentially be an MVP type of player if the Cardinals play well, and especially with an add-on like J.J. Watt, I think that could facilitate the Cardinals going up and having an actual playoff appearance. They also have DeAndre Hopkins, who is also a former Houston Texan and clearly did not like Bill O'Brien either, so that's why he got sent out of town. And I remember when everyone made fun of Bill O'Brien for trading Hopkins, and at least he got something back. They let their franchise player, J.J. Watt, one of the most respected individuals in the NFL, a man who raised $40 million to help Houston after Hurricane Harvey, they just let him walk. And while I understand why they would, because they don't want to have strain and make the public hate him there, at the same time, that's got to hurt these fans, you know. They really love J.J. Watt. I know so many people I've met who are from Texas are like, he's a great dude. And even I would agree, he just seems like an all-around good dude. Not only just for what he brings to the community, but also just as a locker room presence. He's definitely a player you want on your team. So I think this is a great addition for the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're in a bit of a tough division. I don't see them being able to sweep any of their opponents in their division, nor do I see them necessarily getting swept. I could see them being a 10 or 11 win team. That's where I see them right now. I think Kyler Murray's definitely primed to do great things next year, but at the same time, I thought they were a little disappointing for what they were going to be this year. I thought they would have made the playoffs. My Bears, of all teams, actually made the playoffs by basically being terrible, and Arizona just wetting the bed in their final game against John Wolford. Not Goff, Wolford. This random backup that the LA Rams had. How? But, I don't think the contract is too big. I could see why a reason a team like Green Bay didn't want to spend that much money, especially because they've gotten they don't have a tendency to really invest much in free agency as a team that plays in a smaller market, and they love using the draft as a means of getting players. I'm surprised he didn't go to Pittsburgh to play with his two other brothers, Derek and TJ, especially since TJ has proven to be one of the best linebackers in the league, and they have a great defense already. I'm not saying the Cardinals won't have a great defense, but I think if J.J. Watt joined that Steelers defense, that might definitively be the best defense in the league next year. I don't think there would be a defense that has as many good players as the Steelers would have. Cleveland, I was intrigued by that, but I didn't see that happening. Buffalo was another one people talked about. Maybe. Buffalo has a really good defensive staff. They have a really good coach in Sean McDermott, who's definitely proven to make defense a big part of their culture there. Josh Allen took them to another level this year and became their franchise quarterback, but I think that defensive mentality is what led them to the playoffs even before Josh Allen really exploded and became one of the best players in the league this year. I'd say there's a pretty solid shot they make the playoffs, but I don't think it's going to be an easy road for them because they play in the NFC West. If they played in a terrible division like the NFC East, I think they would own everyone and probably would get like maybe 13 wins. That's how high I think they could be if they were not in such a tough division. I would love to see them make the playoffs. I think they have plenty of talent. They're a roster on the rise. They have a lot of players who want to prove something, and I think it could be great for them. So overall, I really like this J.J. Watt signing. I'm glad the Packers didn't sign him. As a Bears fan, I'm ecstatic, as I said before. And overall, I just think this will really improve the roster. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please like it and subscribe if you enjoyed. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Roll Tide and roll out. Woo!